Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It is very hot where I am. So ever so often during this live, you would see me dabbing because the heat will kill you. Thank you, beloved. It's a black-owned company in Maryland that I got them from, custom made. So I think I'm a few minutes early. Hey, Jewel. Hi, Iya. Iya, I saw you responded to me. Obviously, I'm going to respond to you when I get off the live. I hope everyone is having an amazing Sunday. I am waiting on my two guests to arrive and let me know they are here. In the meantime, I would like to thank all of you who reached out to me in the past 2 weeks in regards to the death of my family member, which was announced on the live. And I was actually interviewing Iya Ife. So the following Sunday, I was due to, which was last week, I was due to have an interview with Crystal Banner. And I had to cancel that interview, or postpone it, I should say, because as I was getting ready, we got further news that the person who had died the following Sunday, the Sunday before, her sister died that morning as I was getting ready for the live. So, I see you, Donnecia. I'll add you in a few. Just doing a little housekeeping. So it was a bit too much for me to have to, after the previous Sunday, deal with hearing the news of Wendy passing, my cousin's mom, and then preparing for the live the next Sunday, hearing that her sister passed that Sunday morning. And my cousin, who is his mother and his aunt, had also lost his daughter early up in the month. So it has been a very rough October for him, and a rough emotionally for me, as I'm a medium and you can, start to feel these things unfolding, right? I haven't spoken to a lot of people about this, so I've been reaching out to him. We weren't very close. We all grew up together young, but you become adults, you have your own life, and things just start to go haywire, with your own life. So I've been reaching out to him and I've been talking to him. I cannot begin to imagine you losing your daughter. I think she was 16. You're losing your mother. You're losing your aunt in the same month, right? So that was that. And so I had to shut down last week Sunday. Yeah, I had to leave it alone. So I just want to thank all of you for reaching out to me. And, you guys have been lifting me up for the past 2 weeks. And I really appreciate that. And, some other stuff is going on in my family that we are, expecting some more changes in terms of the elders leaving us. So there is a lot going on. So I thank you all, for those who I've spoken to, for holding me up in prayer. And for you guys now, just continue to pray for me because it's going to be pretty intense. So with that being said, I have decided that I will not be doing sacred conversations in December. I will, when I'm finished out the month of November, because I always book my guests a month in advance. Okay. So I'm going to finish out my interviews for November, which are some amazing people we have coming down the pipeline. So I really wanted them to have them on board. And then December, I'm going to take a hiatus. You guys all know I run it through right until Thanksgiving, all through the edge of Christmas, and then we come back in for January. But I think for December, I'm just going to lay low and come back after New Year's in January. In regards to Clubhouse, I am going to have a conversation with Ia about that, because I know some of you are here that come into Sacred Conversations, always meet us as well on Wednesdays with readings by Simone Clubhouse. So I have to speak to her on that. Last night, someone reached out to me to do a room. Again, talking about African traditional spirituality. And I have to have that conversation with Ia as well. Because I want to do that particular room with her. And, you know, her schedule, she's been telling us she's been doing a lot of traveling. And, you know, we've missed a few Wednesdays. So, and then, you know, when she's not there, I kind of take it as a time for me to rest too. Because this is a lot of energy and a lot of work. But I'll have the conversation with her. And then on this end, I'll let you guys know. And then when we meet again on Clubhouse, I'll let you guys know what's happening. But there is a lot going on my end, and I'm just taking it one step at a time. I really appreciate all of you being patient with me, especially my clients. You know, I had one client, she shifted her schedule to give me time, and she reached out to me because she says, you know, Simone, I know that, you know, you're a professional, like to stay on top of things, but let's reschedule our class. And I really, really appreciated her doing that because I needed the time, right? And I've started by exercising and my whole body is sore. Like, so from my neck down is like a hot pain, but I needed to get back to working out because I am sensing that the next few weeks is going to be pretty intense, not only for work, but emotional wise, changes is happening in my own personal life. And then, you know, my family and everything else that's going on around it. Right. So I'm asking just everyone be patient with me. I'm still on top of everything, but sometimes I may need to pull back and just not participate in certain things that I will be readily able to do. All right, so that is my little spiel before we jump into it. And now let me invite my guests because I am so excited to have these two queens in my space today. I've always wanted to have them on Sacred Conversation. So when it happened, I was like, yay! So we're waiting on, hey, everybody!
Hey, y'all. Peace, everybody.
Peace, yeah. Okay, I see everybody got the lip gloss memo.
I mean, come on. We knew what time it was.
Okay.
Oh my God, Donnecia, you're wearing the earrings.
Yes, y'all look.
I should have put my earrings on.
Okay.
Simone got
It's
me
giving
these
what it
beautiful
needs to
earrings.
give.
Shout out to that.
Yeah, if I knew you were going to put them on, I would have told Simone to come online so she could see you. But I'll tell her after.
Look, you can take a screenshot.
Yeah. Because the lady who designed them and makes them, her name is Simone Arthur too.
Why everybody glasses look so good too though? Do read it. We just got different glasses. Okay,
Y'all are
it's the
so
price.
cute.
Listen, the three mediums like the three blind mice.
Okay, what Nene looks we see each other.
Yeah, listen.
Real recognize real. Y'all look real familiar.
Third eye chakra energy. So I'm drinking my water because this place is on fire. It's like 80-something degrees right now. And I can't turn the fan on because you guys would hear the buzz. So anyhow, let me do the introductions. Everybody, thank you for joining us. This is the first time I'm doing Well, technically, yeah, the first time I'm using this feature on IG where I'm interviewing two people at the same time. The last time I did this, I interviewed a voodoo priest out of Benin, and he couldn't speak English. So I had to have he's called a translator next to me to translate the whole conversation. So that was pretty interesting. So this is the first time I'm using this feature of talking to more than one person. Okay. So we have here with me Donnecia, and we also have Brooke. Now, there's so many unique things about the three of us, outside of the fact that we're like stunning spiritualists.
I love that for us.
Right? We're here interacting with each other, and we've never met personally. Mm-mm. Never. One, two, we've met on Clubhouse, right? And because, you know, we're all into this spiritual energy, and all three of us are readers. All three of us have our businesses where, you know, folks book us for readings. All three of us are mediums. All three of us like to have fun and fun and fun. And, you know, when I met the two of you, I think I met Brooke first, and then I met you, Donnecia, on Clubhouse in these amazing rooms, and we just connected, and everything just feels spiritually aligned. Like the ancestors had a meeting beforehand and says, all right, let me get the three of these together. So, you know, we don't have to be looking for bail money sometimes. Keep everybody in line. Like when Denise is far left, Simone and Brooke comes running, and vice versa in between. So I really appreciate, you know, the love and support you guys have been giving me for the last few months. You know, I mean, we don't know each other personally, but you guys are just intuitive enough to reach out at the right time when I need it. And I pray and I hope I have been that way for you as well. And so I wanted to bring you on to talk about spirituality and millennials. And I'm not a millennial, so I've passed that stage a long time ago. Well, I was never in that stage because we were something else. I think Generation X. So I really wanted to talk about what being in that space was like. What are the things you enjoy about it? What are some of the challenges? And, you know, how do you maneuver, you know, your spiritual life and your personal life as two young women? And if being in these different spaces, what are some of the restrictions you may have come across? Whereas, you know, your other friends who are your age are able to like free to do certain things. And because of your gift, there is some measure of limitations. Now, where I come from, we call that taboos. And so I wanted to speak on that a lot. We got an hour. This is a long time. But I first wanted to ask, you know, and anyone could jump in and answer first. At what age did you realize that you had this gift? And what was that experience like when you had that realization?
I was that person in class that was quiet and trying to wait for the other person to raise their hand.
Be pleased. Simone, thank you for this space. Thank you for being you. Thank you for prioritizing your care. Because I heard you say, right, like that you wasn't a millennial, but like even that wisdom of, listen, this is what's been going on. I'm prioritizing my well-being, but also grateful to have this conversation. So thank you. You know what? The first thing that comes to mind is my early 20s and romantic and intimate relationships, and not being able to discern my intuition and some of the things that were happening in my dream space, and being like, I know some shit is up or some things are going to go down, but it felt a little bit chaotic, right? Particularly because I was experiencing a good bit of like disembodiment. And so I had this awareness of the gift of sight, but I didn't necessarily have the tools to be able to integrate the feedback or how to use that knowledge.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Brooke?
I would say when it comes to like my spiritual gifts, one of the first things I learned was like the power of the tongue. in what we manifest and protect. And I was in my domestic violence situation, and I hadn't fully left Christianity. I was in my Hebrew Israelite phase, which, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Shoot, it was a journey. But in between that time, because I hadn't immediately left out of the situation yet, I would read Psalms almost every day. The Lord is the light of my salvation. And I would just speak protection and just, be like, Granny, if you can hear me, just surround me, da 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 da. And I just realized slowly but surely, my well-being, I was always safe. I ended up like just being able to shift my environment, little by little by little, and what looked like tower moments were actually moments for realignment for me to go deeper into my spiritual journey. So I learned that the things that I was speaking outside of my mouth was shifting the environment around me, and the power of words first before anything else that I knew would transpire. Mm-hmm. So that was probably 22, 23.
Oh, wow. I was in my late 20s when my gift manifested. And that is why I admire the two of you. Because you guys are living in your gift. You're standing in your purpose. At that age, I was like, hells no. Nobody gonna know I got this thing. And I was worried about being judged, especially coming from a middle-class family out of the Caribbean, specifically Barbados, right? So like most of I didn't really come up. Oh my God, the mosquitoes. I didn't really become public with my gift until like 2 years ago, and now I'm in my mid to going into my late 40s. So this is one of the things that I really admire about the two of you, is that you stand firm in who you are, and when it comes to your spirituality, and you lean on that energy for a lot of things that you are going through as women, as Black women, as young Black women living in America. And Brooke, you mentioned reciting a psalm. So I'm assuming that being in this space, you are coming from a family who are Christians.
Absolutely. Christian. But I learned as my medium gifts started to manifest that I came from a long line of root workers. And so once I realized, in hoodoo, because I'm a hoodoo practitioner, how Psalms, is pretty much the extra, little sop to do what it needs to do. I realized very, very early on how Christianity, or how the Bible in particular still like correlates to the spiritual journey that you're on to some extent. Like it's still heavily used. One of the biggest things that made me kind of shift away from Christianity is growing up Christian, being on the ushers board, in the choir, praise dancer. You know what I mean? Like,
you were fully in there.
Church, okay? Like,
children's choir,
that's child labor, first of all, because it be hella programs, and if it's a church, after church with a guest minister, that's a whole nother layer, rabbit hole, okay?
Jesus child labor. Jesus God.
You be sitting there at 10, and all you can eat is the communion that they left after the first service, and you ain't supposed to be eating them crackers, but what else you gonna eat?
So you said your basic needs weren't met, but you was doing all of this ushering, okay? Tell the truth and stay in the church.
Right? And so I just I'll never forget being in like Sunday school or something, and I'm being like, well, if all these things taking us to hell, is anything outside of drinking communion gonna bring us to heaven? And the lady was like, you don't question God, that'll bring you to hell too. And so then I was terrified. And so from like 7 till about 18, I never asked another damn question, because I'm like, shit, I can't even ask God because I'm gonna go to hell for that. So I'm gonna just, mind my business. And it felt like I was giving away so much of my curiosity, so much of my like power, so much like whatever could have been developed. I just felt like you know, it was a sin to even try to develop or be curious about like these dreams that I have very vividly, or like, you know, this way that I feel in my gut that something may happen. Like, don't question that shit, because I'm gonna be in the fire. So I just, you know,
stay still and quiet.
Absolutely.
What about you, Donnecia? I know that you were, or you have, that you were pursuing a degree in theology, but or that you have the degree. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I cannot remember. But if you want to touch a little bit about that, you can. If you don't, that's okay.
I've been arguing with my ancestors about this shit for like 2 years, okay? And quite honestly, so I was working on my Master's of Divinity, but I took a break over the summer because I just realized that I had to pay attention to the currency that it was taken for me to obtain this degree, not just the spiritual, but the emotional and the intellectual labor, and what it meant for me to be in a institutionalized space, right? As a Black body, as a Black person. And so I mean, I was raised very much within the Black church tradition. I can say a funny memory is when I was 4 and my mother was 19, okay? And she was trying to teach me about the Bible. And she said, the devil will make you do stuff that you don't want to do. And so I stood behind her, like when she was, I can't remember, like after she was done, I said, well, the devil's telling me to kick you right now, but I'm not going to do it because I know that's not right. She said, get your ass out my room. And she stopped trying to teach me about the Bible at that point. And so I have a wrestling with understanding, you know, the tradition and understanding that my folks conjured from wholeness, even if there was syncretism, or if maybe it wasn't made manifest in the ways that I could perceive was this is hoodoo, this is conjure, you feel me? And so I feel very much Christian adjacent, but also it's been a challenge for me knowing that I come from a line of preachers, and also feeling very like prophetic, and people being like, well, you're supposed to be preaching. But I'm like, y'all don't actually want to hear the shit that I have to say because y'all would kick me out of the church. And so I'm in this like discernment period. I mean, and the thing actually that deterred me was I would have elders and people say, when you have a collar, someone literally said this to me, people won't fuck with you as much, right? And so then I had to think about religious authority and what that meant in terms of my proximity to power. And so I'm thinking about what liberation means, right? Especially under the guise of Blackness. And I mean, there's been some conjurers, Tay Amari Little, Zulani from Elevated Conjure, that have really helped me in terms of decolonizing my understanding of myself, but also really being curious about some of those retentions within the Black church that are actually that are African, and very much so that people, I don't necessarily know that they're always mindful of the ritual and how something can be perceived as one thing, but there are many different forms of technology that inform that thing.
Yeah. You know, I'm talking to you and I feel this energy, and it just sitting here with me and is saying, wait till she gets her TED Talk.
Okay.
Right? Bro,
for real though.
We getting it for free now. Shit.
Wow.
Wait until you get your TED Talk. So at what point was it decided that your spirituality, this gift that has been given to you, you were going to share it with others for a small fee? We like to say a small fee, and make that a source of income for you, whereas you're getting monetary payment for your gift, for the exchange of energy. But at what point, or did something happen for you to get to that stage and say, okay, you know, this is the road I'm going to go down with my spirituality?
Mm.
I know for me, I didn't have a choice. My back was against the wall, actually. And everything else that I was trying to work on to support myself fell apart, right? And I was literally the bottom of the barrel, or and laying down in the gutter, right? So, you know, Spirit came to me and said, well, Simone, you're here. You know, we're still with you. Everyone else is gone. What you gonna do? Right? So I'm praying that your guys' that shift was not as brutal
No,
as it
my
was
shit
for
was
me.
ghetto. I ain't even going lies to y'all. I had just made like my, when you finally get the position like in corporate that's like, this is it, like after
Yeah.
this then I'm about to take off. Like I've been waiting to get my Monday through Friday benefits, can travel, working in the hospitality industry. And I had just started doing readings, but I was doing energy readings because I'm not messing with no tarot cards. That's not me. That's witchcraft, right? So doing this and doing my little $3.33 energy readings.
What?
Look at somebody like, there you go with them discount. I was discounting.
You said $33.33?
No, the $3.33.
All you gotta do is like an RT and post your initials.
Right? And you bitches love the numbers, right? Spiritual people love the number like 1111 or $4.44, whatever the hell.
You saw that.
Please
You saw
put
that
the angel
333 on the
numbers.
clock, right? And he was like, "That's the sign.
That's the sign.
That's the sign."
I saw.
Talking to me. Jewel is on this live, like
She is
dying with
playing
laughter.
something.
But go ahead.
They said I would be like, I saw 111, so that means I need to charge $1.11. And somebody be like, well, I don't got $1.11, and here, well, actually, bitch, if you didn't have $1.11, you don't need to be getting that reading. You need to be calling your power back to yourself. But nonetheless, I was doing that, and Spirit literally loud as day. I was working in corporate as a sales receptionist. Was like, you moving back to St. Louis? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, yes, you are. And it was the January of 2019, right? And so I'm like at the desk in Texas, like, you know how you do the God, if this is this, show me a sign. I'm like, God, if I'm supposed to be relocating to St. Louis, like I'm learning to be more obedient and, just, be in alignment, just show me a sign. The very next phone call was someone trying to book an event. And I was like, okay, where are you all located? They were like, well, we're located in St. Louis, Missouri. And I was like, okay. So they just gonna send the phone call straight to me. And from there, I put in my 2 weeks notice. But I'll never forget, one of those sales ladies were telling me, like, there will have to be a catastrophe, Brooke, to happen before we get out of any of these positions that you're waiting on, because we've been in them for 20 years. Ooh. Right? And so full circle, I relocate, I put in, whatever. This is when like the COVID was like being talked about in Wuhan, China and everything, but it wasn't really, spreading here. I put in my 2 weeks, whatever. I left. My last day was like February 20th, and I didn't return. All my family told me I was batshit crazy. Like, you're just getting a career. You just gonna up and leave, whatever. Your son's been living out here. What's gonna happen? Will you be safe when you get home? All of this stuff. And I came back to St. Louis March the 15th. Everything shut down the very next week, and the hospitality industry crashed that April. Everybody lost the job, including those people that said a catastrophe would have had to happen. Right? So no sales for her. Them whites in that pride, they get them every time. But nonetheless, the only other option of what I could do in that time to make any type of income, because I was moving into an apartment and all these other things, and I wasn't getting any interviews from the hotel industry, was just do readings. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just do some energy readings. And it started to just take off, and it really just learned that like these spiritual gifts were literally the only thing that was making sure that I was secure, I was safe, and I had enough. And so from there, I just fell into it even more.
It's so funny you were working in the hotel industry. I was working, but I left in 2018. I was working in tourism, travel and leisure.
Okay.
Let me tell you, when this whole thing started to fall apart, I was like, thank you, Jesus. Because to be in the because to be in the, and I may have still had my job, but to be in the middle of that and not being able to move or do anything and just feeling this pressure to figure, I was like, and that is when it's so amazing. But during this breakout, this pandemic, is when everybody was like, oh my God, what is happening? And I don't know about you, but and I'm sure it happened to you. Let me say, I don't know about you, but you start getting those calls like, what is going on here? What are the ancestors trying to tell us? Can you connect to anybody on the other realms, on the other planes? Is there a portal opening? Donnecia, was anything like that going on with you and your business when this whole thing just exploded? What was that experience for you like?
So I do not do spiritual work full time. It's something that I've wrestled with, right? When I think about sustainability and capacity, because before I was even doing any kind of spiritual work, I was doing crisis interventions, and that's work that I was doing with one of my champion ancestors, my grandmother, work around deviant sexual trauma. And I had a job that I thought was the best fucking job in the world. I was paid well, right? I was working at one of the top 30 schools in this country. I thought I was doing something. And my spirits was like, you're going to have to quit. And I was like, no, what are y'all talking about? Please. Right? And they're like, you're not safe. And I'm like, but I love this job. And then I had a white doctor call the police on me because he didn't believe I was who I said I was, even though I had my university ID, right? And so I remember after that unfolded, right? I started working with the chaplain's office, and I was like providing self-care readings for undergrad students who were protesting and doing energy clearing and healing sessions. And I thought, okay, so my spiritual gifts are basically an extension of my capacity to provide spiritual care. And so once I got online, or more prominent on social media, I started doing collective carpools. And then I would have people say, this really resonated, but here's a specific situation. And the thing that intrigued me was oftentimes it would be people experiencing crisis. And so I'm like, okay, I'm not working for an institution. Normally there's a specific protocol that you have to follow for interventions. And so that's when I had to take 1.5 years off, right, to allow myself to recover because I burned out. And so now I'm thinking very specifically about that gifting of crisis intervention, but how that lends itself to lineage-based crisis response. Because even with this pandemic, I just feel like there's been like trans crisis, like crisis across generations, right? Like chronic needs undermet, and people are like, fuck that, okay? I can see that like this was something that I maybe have accepted as a norm, right? Considering social location, family of origin, the kind of themes that you're used to. But I remember when I was protesting, I was like, yo, this is a reckoning. Like, this isn't a personal indictment, because there were specific like administrators that were involved that wake, but it was like an institutional indictment. And so I understood that there were going to be some really swift changes. And Taylor Murray Little taught me not to be sentimental about the destruction of the world as is, right? Because part of the work that I'm here to do is to build, and not so much build in a physical way, right? But support folks in repairing breaches and restoring covenants so that they can encounter their whole selves. And so I'm still trying to work through what that might look like, because I've always been like, oh, okay, I can do a little bit here. But then I'm like, no, I don't think this is the work that I'm supposed to be doing full time, because there's always this little pull to be like, oh, I have to be doing it for some other people if I'm going to be able to have my needs met financially, right? And so we talk about folks doing spiritual work from a place of survival. That just didn't feel sustainable for me.
Yeah, and it's not sustainable. It really isn't.
Yeah.
People think we're out here like stashing money not to look like millionaires, but it really isn't sustainable. And what I'm learning is that you have to carve different, like other niche along with this gift. And we're seeing people, doing retreats. And we're seeing, we know what that's, yeah.
Is this tequila in my bottle?
Oh my goodness. Y'all said y'all want some rum. I got y'all.
Girl, do you want intermission for the bar?
Where's the rum punch?
Right?
Let's just pretend this is a beer.
But for real though, you see the people doing the look. I'm sorry. Pause. This is a brief intermission to stop doing retreats when there is no spiritual backing behind it, because the currency does not match the spiritual capacity that goes into it.
Correct.
I'm also thinking about the safety and well-being of the people that are showing up. If they're already vulnerable, right, and seeking some sort of healing, we're amid a national pandemic, right? Like
facts. And that's why the little trinkets and the bright lights and the all that other stuff is not appealing to people like us, because we know what it is to have to dig deep, really, and pull ourselves out of stuff, right? And we know what it is to see someone in that space and in that position and have to first go and sit with them and let them know, okay, you ain't got to be here for the rest of your life. Right? You don't have to stay in this position. And we go in there and we do what we got to do. We talk to their ancestors. We talk to our ancestors. We talk to spirit guides. We spend time. We hold hands. We may do a little ritual to ease people out of these situations. Right?
People think you just putting a little eucalyptus sweet pea bath blend in the tub and your ass gonna be okay.
Yeah, you can put sugar on shit. It's still shit.
It's
and
still
if somebody
shit.
is planning something that is rooted in capitalism, what you're gonna get is imperialism, and they're not gonna help you be liberated. So you buying into their empire. You are buying into their empire.
Correct.
Right?
And
damn, that water was so good. I ain't take the top off.
Spirit said no cap. No cap.
We are not cutting up on the sacred conversations today.
Listen, our three grandmothers are like, Lord have mercy.
Because I saw an orb come by the playpen. I saw the orb. I said, not Granny said, child with the fan.
Right. Right.
Lipstick on a pig. My God.
Right. That's Barbara.
But we have to talk about, because these aesthetics, everybody wants these aesthetics and shit. Like they really, I'm telling y'all, it all circles back to the TikTok witches.
Okay.
It's the truth. And even as us spiritualists, we have to be mindful of some of the spaces that we go into and not get attached to the wrong energy and then be labeled the wrong thing, right? So, we live and we learn. What do y'all think you guys were chosen for this work?
Because I wasn't ordained to be anybody other than myself. So however that is made manifest, right? Like I trust that that's what's meant to be unfolding.
What about you, Brooke?
Child, I don't even know. Sometimes I still be calling their ass and trying to figure it out. Like, I love to be like, I know that they chose me because I feel like they were just like, fuck it. You already be doing some weird shit. Let's just level the playing field. Like, pimp my ride. You know how he be like, we see you had this, so we went ahead and added this. Like, we see you already got all of this opinion and shit. We gonna give you some intuition with that shit and then just let you really channel some messages to these people, because it's just always been that way. But it was very liberating too. I think that they also chose me because I had some things that I could heal from while helping others heal themselves. I never felt comfortable being myself, ever. Yeah. Was very clairaudient. I'd be like, did y'all hear that? Ain't nobody hear shit. So I'm like, did I hear it? But people were talking to me as a kid, and so it's just like, it got to a point to where it's like, shit, if I'm gonna be this way, I'm gonna be brought off, locked up, and just unapologetically, and because I know what it feels like to not be that way. I know what it feels like to, let me try to be quieter a little. Let me not say this because I don't want people to be like, what the fuck she talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, I really took a moment to just really just take off every layer, every expectation, and just be without thinking about what that is, and just exist. You know, if I want to wake up tomorrow and start breakdancing in the middle of the highway, that's what I'm gonna do. But I'm liberated to do so.
Ashe. That's when you're standing in your truth, right? And that is who you are. That is what it is. As you guys know, I'm here in Barbados with my family, and I was talking.
Island. No, you was in the islands. Okay.
I'm in the island, right?
Okay.
And I was talking to my brother was talking to me about something. We were back and forth about the situation, and I realized when he was saying, "Well, you doing what you're doing," and then he's able to say what that. Well, I'm working on my company as an engineer in construction, and we've had this conversation before, and I realized that he struggled to put words to what I do, right? Like he will say, well, you're doing what you're doing. And then if I mention something, well, I have to start work today at 9 o'clock. And we were talking about something, how our day is going. He will get quiet. I don't know if he's going to see this live because he doesn't pay attention to what I'm doing. And so what has been, you know, you're in your particular spaces doing your spiritual work, continuing the work of your ancestors, because you know that's what you're doing, right? In the midst of that, you're breaking generational curses, not only within your own family, within your community, you know, within your race. All these responsibilities, whether we like it or not, falls nicely in our sphere and in our lap. What has the support been like for you with your family members? I joke and I tell people my family treat me like a drug dealer, right? They know what I do. They don't talk about it, but they take the money.
Yeah.
So when my mother saw him, like, you know, your drug dealer daughter, she's like, oh my God, so please. So what has the support been like? Let me not even go into the family thing. What is
That's
it like?
Sacred conversations. You need to have us get some mimosas.
That's your brand. So we got to come to mimosas and master plans. My brand would have rum.
Okay, so we're gonna have the next time we on live, we'll have a brunch, and
We'll have a brunch.
Bring your own drink.
I think by the time that happens, folks will be asking, like, can we do this in person? This online thing is just over.
No retreats, no retreats.
No retreats. Listen, I could probably get a text about this.
Shout out to the hermit card.
Right? But listen, what is it like being in a spiritualist and dating? A spiritualist and a mom. A spiritualist and somebody's daughter. Especially with the energy, whereas, you know, they're still in this maybe Christian phase of their life, if you know what I'm saying. Somebody here say, Ramamosa, Lord have mercy.
We like it. Come on, new brand. Okay. I like that.
I know, me too. So what is it like, how do you handle being a millennial with a spiritual gift? What is that? I don't know what that is like, obviously. But what is that like? Like, are you dating somebody and they come by you, I don't know, for whatever reason, ha ha ha. And they see this ancestral table, or they smell it and they're like, what is that? What are you doing? How is that for you?
I've been single for over 1.5 years, so I would like to know, you feel me? But I mean, but also like some of those restrictions, right? when it comes to like matters of the heart and intimacy, I can love somebody and want to be with them, but if they're not mindful of spiritual hygiene, if they're not mindful of what's going on within their lineage, sometimes I can't be with you because that's a spiritual protective provision. You feel me? When I'm thinking about my family, I love my family, but they get on my fucking nerves sometimes. My mama be like, oh, so you gonna lie to them people about what their ancestors said today? And then she gonna pretend to be somebody's ancestor, or something happened, she be like, put them in a jar, put them in your shoe, right? And it's intriguing to think about because she's always accepted me, right? I have some challenges, right, with some of my Bible thumping relatives, right, who are very stern in terms of how God is made manifest, but they try to be as inclusive as they can. Sometimes I feel like I just got out here. Like, being 31 feels like where I may have been if I was 21 and had not experienced a decade worth of trauma, And so there was a period where I was thinking about missed milestones and, oh, I should be here in my life, or I should be married by now. I talked to my granny. She just turned 91. And she said, and I hadn't talked to her in like over 2 years. And she said, hey, are you married? Do you have kids? That was the first question she asked about me. And I was like, do y'all got grandkid money? Okay.
They never do. They never do.
Yeah. I'm just saying. And so it's been a joy, but also I think this portion of my journey has, I'm not gonna lie, it's been incredibly isolating and a little bit lonely, but I'm not alone. And so I give thanks for my ancestors and my spirits helping me to learn new ways of engaging in platonic intimacy, but also shifting my relationship that I have with the work that I do, because you can't turn it on and off, but like healthy boundaries really do support, because I can't be out here being everybody's therapist and crisis responder and spiritual companion and grief doula and doing all these things. And so it's a challenge, but also one of my greatest joys to be able to show up and be myself.
Yeah, beautiful. What about you, Brooke?
My family be getting on my motherfucking nerves, okay? It's a lot of spiritual gaslighting, okay? It's a lot of fake Erykah Badu, Miss Cleo, ... But then when something happens, oh my gosh, we're so proud of you, okay? It's a lot of me, like last year, I think it was Thanksgiving or something, mama got drunk and I'm just like, I had to really snap. I said, I don't think that shit funny. That's really what I said. I said, the fake Erykah Badu shit is not funny to me. My spiritual gifts are not funny to me. The things that I see are not a joke. And in that moment, she was like, I never said your gifts were fake. Your great-great-grandmother, she had the same type of gifts. And it paused because this lady that I've been seeing in my dreams for the past 2 years, and I've been spiritually gaslit for the past year and a half, is someone that had these same gifts, but because no one understood them, venerated her, or uplift her, and I don't even have a picture of her, I've been led to think that I'm just out here by myself when this shit was literally embedded in my DNA. And thank you for bringing this to my attention in the midst of your toxicity so that I could be liberated and knowing I'm doing exactly what I needed to do. So me speaking up allowed my ancestor to show up for me. But child, I got my lemon cake and my peach cobbler and I went home because I realized I really am at peace in isolation. I still need my food though, it's Thanksgiving, the food just hit a little different. But let me wrap this plate up and go into my safe space and just affirm that, sometimes your family is here so you can learn certain lessons on earth, but I have an immense amount of soul family. You know what I mean? And that I don't need that validation from, anybody within my specific lineage, because what I'm doing supersedes them. For sure. And so that's where I've been at. Wow. And I love my son. Like, of course, y'all know JJ be doing his readings. He pulls out his Uno cards. And I will never forget, like, just how liberating it is for him to just freely express whatever comes to his mind. Like, I never forget, I thought I was dating somebody, and he ran up to him and said, "I see a demon," and ran off. And the man said, "Well, if I'm such a demon, why your mama talking to me?" And he said, "She got her ancestors," and he ran off again. Right? Or he pulled the 10 of swords for somebody and never saw the cards before and was like, "It's 1, 2, 3, it's 10 knives. You getting stabbed, but you gonna get up though." You know. But him
We love
even
JJ.
right, but him
We
even
love him.
being liberated to do that, and how me being open to be myself empowers him to be open to be himself, and that grace that I get within their relationship.
And you realize with you doing that with him, that curse, that generational energy of denial of certain things, of putting people in boxes, you're breaking that via how you are raising your son, not only, you know, to be a productive citizen, however he views that when he becomes a man, but also to embrace his spirituality and to speak his truth. And protect his mama.
He was not playing, okay?
Period.
Look, JJ be vetting him at the door.
I want to also ask about what advice, and I need a time check. If somebody could tell me what time it is so we don't.
It's 12:49 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, good. We're in good time. What advice would you give to a young person, a young meaning your age, who is going through this phase of hearing things, seeing things, feeling things, dreaming things? One, or a person who's realized that they have the gift and trying to manage life, whether they've graduated from college. And I'm saying this specifically to a client of mine who just came in on the line, who's got their degree, who's starting their own business and realize they got a spiritual gift, and all the things of a 20-something-year-old just rolling around this whole spiritual experience they're having. What advice would you give them to find their spiritual footing? And I know and you never feel like completely grounded in it, but you have some core there that you work with whenever you feel a little shaky. What advice would you give that person? Not everybody talk at the same time.
Stay in your body, be present in your body, see what your canon has to say, right? There are many sacred texts, but the script that is most profound is the one that's embodied. Learn your body's wisdom and the ways that you process information, particularly when it comes to being studious or like studies. I had to be mindful of the ways that my younger selves learned, right? What was my learning style? What inspired me? What provoked me? Okay. And what made me feel nurtured when I was learning something new, or when I fucked up and made mistakes and I didn't quite get something right. You feel me? So be mindful of the many different points of feedback, but know that the intelligence that is within you is very specific to your canon. Many people have gifts, right? But not everybody has the same soul intelligence that you have that is embodied, right? And so listen, the God within, okay, that's the God that you trust, okay? And that might not look like the God that everybody else told you about, okay? But that's the God that you came to share with the rest of us, because I believe not only as praxis, but as theology, that we are love incarnate, right? To be incarnate means that you are a manifestation of many different things. Biography and identity, they are not synonymous. The things that have happened to you, the shit that has happened to you, it makes you who you are. It informs your being, but it is not who you are, right? And so learning to discern who I was in those moments where I felt disembodied because of emotional dysregulation, because trauma created some tension within my body. And so I didn't have like authority over my being, or I felt compromised. You feel me? That is why the body work, the somatic healing, the body is where the liberation is. The body is our first site of divination. The body is the site of healing too, right? So be in your body and pay attention to what your body's communicating, but also learn to love and accept your body as is. That's what I got.
Ashe.
Mm-hmm. I wish I was watching so I could take notes.
Are you going to save the live, Simone?
Always do. Yeah. Always do. Right after the show, I save it on the timeline, and then I put it on YouTube. But I haven't put anything on YouTube yet, because you know how it's been going. It's just been, yeah.
Because I was just going to tell people to drink some water.
Ashe.
But literally hydrate yourself and ground yourself before you do anything else, or feel like, I know how to do this, or I have this now, I want to share it to the world. Just take some time to ground yourself and to sit with your gifts, to sit with your ancestors, to just stay rooted, because that shit can be rocky as hell. And I'm telling you, if you dehydrated, you're really gonna be tired. The power of water, you can speak to this. Well, I could say this is some fuck nigga free water, and as I drink this water intentionally, no fuck niggas will come my way. I could say this is my abundance water, and by the end of this bottle of water, I have 3 bookings on my website. I could say this is water to liberate my ancestors, and I finish this bottle of water and find a song from my grandma that she used to love. You know what I mean? Be intentional with drinking your motherfucking water, and it will help you ground yourself when you don't have the nature around you or anything else. Water is good for you.
Ashe. No one has asked questions. I think everybody is so oh, wait. Cookie Twist, Evolving Beauty said bottle and sell that.
Fuck nigga free water. Don't give me no ideas and go with the brand, y'all.
You'd be walking around in the house with the bowl, just sprinkling water everywhere. Okay, no fuck niggas past this threshold.
You better sprinkle me, baby.
What is challenging about this work for you guys?
Patience. I am a very impatient person, and sometimes I have to remind myself of why I do the work I do, because I understand that some people that are coming to me don't understand the magnitude of what's occurring in the divination. Someone will come and be upset that maybe I didn't tell them if their boyfriend was cheating, but I told them that they have a blockage on their sacral chakra that's rooted in a generational curse about how, they handle intimate relationships with men. They don't give a fuck about that shit. They like, okay, but what about, Lil Ray? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I have to remind myself to have more patience, because when I jumped in this, I didn't have the emotional maturity to, like,
really
take a couple breaths. No, it's the same. It's so, yeah. I be having to get patience. I see now why they tell us, like, our ancestors back in the day that were diviners and stuff, like, they didn't have all those tapestries and shit, and they was giving you your message with a deck of cards and a Newport. But it makes sense now. I be sitting there like, is tobacco that bad? Because my ancestors wanted on their altar, and maybe it's for a reason, because they know what's going to come through with this channel. So patience was the hardest thing, and allotting grace for myself as well, because I was like, do I even have enough grace for myself? And maybe that's why I have a hard time having grace for others.
Ashe. What about you, Donnecia?
I'm thinking about like parasocial relationships, but I don't even want to use parasocial. I would say sometimes like community, whether that be digital or physical, because not everybody moves with integrity or ethics. And I mean, I've learned that not only loved ones are really good at disguising themselves as oppressors, but some of these spiritualists out here are too. And so just having to be mindful of people that I'm sharing space with and the like petty ass back and forth. And I'm like, listen, I don't want no parts of that. I'm trying to tend to my work. You know what I'm saying? Take care of myself so that I can show up for the people that are receptive to whatever it is that I have to offer. And so I think also balancing and maintaining a level of harmony in my own life so that I'm not overcompensating and trying to give care and support to other folk when really it's me, oh Lord. You feel me?
Yeah. Standing in the need of prayer.
Not my
Okay.
mother, not my
Okay.
father,
It's me, oh Lord.
not my sister,
Standing
not
in
my
the need of
brother. I
prayer.
love those babies, but it's me right now.
Right, as Ashe. All right. So there's any parting words? Well, oh wait. Now we got a question. Jewel is asking, what were the readings Donnecia suggested about decolonizing the Christian mind? You suggested some readings on that?
Ooh, I didn't suggest a reading, but the Christian mind, my God.
I guess she means like books or...
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Taylor Amari Little, okay, has a podcast called Tay in the Water that has some really great episodes around spiritual technology. And yeah, okay. And then the other one was Zolani from Elevated Conjure. And these are hoodoos and conjurers. They I was talking about Zolani has a reprogram oil that I had to use to do a ritual. And they have it up on their site. So Elevated Conjure.
Okay. Brooke, tell us about Amethyst Corner and all the, and you know, make it sweet and short because you got a lot going on the Amethyst Corner. So tell us about Amethyst Corner and all the beautiful subsidiaries that's under it.
Absolutely. So Amethyst Corner is a healing space that I created first virtually and then manifested into a physical space September of 19th. And pretty much it is where I do my divination tools. I do dream interpretation, mediumship, past life readings, tarot readings, rune divinations. I sell my Rich Bitch tea, which is some of my hoodoo work, and also like just different spiritual bath blends, and kind of create events around that as well to kind of help people just tap into their spirituality without it being some type of like structured scary thing, right? We ain't sitting in a circle with a star around it, you know, summoning Satan or no shit like that. And it's not necessarily, you know, making intimidating to the eye. If you just stumbled across and you want to know, like you had a weird dream or something, we can talk about it. If you feel like your ancestors have showed up or you thought you might have seen a ghost, we can talk about it. And it's a safe space where you don't have to be politically correct.
What about Donnecia? What are you working on next?
I'm doing some more writing and excited to publish more writing around my own personal theologies and sharing the stories that my ancestors have shared with me. I also want to acknowledge the comments around unlearning, indoctrination, and whatever's been ingrained from Christianity. And so that's some of the work that I do in my divinations. They're very much person-centered, trauma-informed, and I definitely enjoy the different groups of ancestors that I get to spend time with when folks come to me for support. And so much of that work is around lineage-based asset mapping, repairing breaches, and really supporting you and tending to what you have the power to engage in this moment. But there's also some room for like divine, creative improvisation. And so I'll be opening my books next week. So if you want a divination, you have to DM me here or on Twitter. I'm working on a website.
Yeah, me too. Because you see, when IG shut down that short period of time, can't rely on these folks, yo. We gotta have some outside stuff going on.
We sure do, especially with all the
door closed. Another one flies right open. I was always open over there, you know. But I want to thank both of you for being here with me, for supporting me today. and every day.
We just love you.
Yeah.
Y'all ask Simone. And Simone, what's next for you?
Yes.
What can the viewers expect from you?
Well, I'm planning something for 2022. I drop hints in my stories, and it's going to be here in Barbados.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got to figure it all out. Someone came to me with it actually and said, "This is what you need to do. This is what you should be doing." So I was like, "I don't want to be bothered with this right now." They're like, "This is something you need to do." So I'm planning something for next year here on the island. Very short, very sweet, but very purposeful and very intentional, right? So, you know, again, my work is with the ancestors. My work is connecting people to their ancestors, having them figure out their love language, and that will continue to be my focus. Also, I offer a 7-week course on spirituality and your ancestors. So basically the course is focused on, you know, how you venerate your ancestors, how you create your love language with your ancestors. And then I throw a little magic in there about how to do certain rituals for yourself. Yeah, so those are the main things. Oh, and then there's another project whereas I'm creating a paper, and everything is right here on my altar. All my notes are right here on my altar. Whereas I'm looking to help businesses with their employees as we get back into moving from working from home to getting back into the office, right? So during some of my readings, I had warned business owners and some managers and supervisors that this transition from home to work is going to be taxing for some. And you are going to have mental situations in the middle of an office day. Are you guys ready for that? Have you prepared for that? Has HR prepared for that? Have you set up something, some sort of mental health assistance to your staff members for that? So that is what I'm currently working on. And I'm still doing my readings, but I'm seeing that starting to come back, to cut back. Because I'm getting older and this thing is like really draining, right? And so, you know, I'm going to keep my regulars, keep my folks who come to me, you know, I would always give them love. They would always love me. But I know it's coming to the part where at some point I'm going to, you know, just shut off new folks. Because, you know, I go really deep with my readings, like you ladies know, even when you're doing, you know, your medium and you're connecting. And I find the further I go, the more energy it takes from me. So like the other day I was reading this guy and I ended up with his great grandfather who had land, and the land had oil, but he didn't want to tell the family the land had oil. So he kept it quiet because, you know, the white man was going to roll up in on him and take all the shit away. And then his children would have access to it. Well, his plan worked out because now it came to pass. The folks tried to take it away from his family and they had to go to court. Wow. So now the families get a check every month, right? So when I go through that and I'm telling you, well, who's this person, they don't know. But then they're able to make the connection when I'm able to say certain things. So I'm realizing I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then when I come out, I'm like, you know, my energy level is not there, you know? So you know, this is why I'm really like excited about the work you guys are doing, and whatever capacity you're doing it in is all needed. Because when folks like me ready to shut down, you know, you guys got to carry the mantle in whatever way you feel like doing that serves you. Right. So I really felt it was important for me to have this discussion just so folks will know, and I would learn from you guys what it is to be in this space at this age and maneuvering all of these different things. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, you know, and positioning myself to be married soon. I don't know who it is yet, I already
I
got
already got my dress picked out. Okay.
Meet me at the altar
okay.
in the white
White
dress.
shirt. And they wearing white, virgin or not.
Okay. All right now. See what that rum punch do to you. It's exciting. Being a spiritualist is exciting. Being connected with the ancestors is exciting. I mean, even though they have you by a cliffhanger, okay, it's that connection to them, that protection around them, that discipline, that hug that they give you when you need it, or that slap on the wrist, or that laugh that they give you.
Yeah.
All of this, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. And when you make that connection to help somebody else, that's pretty profound. And I kid you not, sometimes when I'm in my own peril, some of them same ancestors that showed up in their readings, they roll up, they're like, Simone, what do you need? What do you want? And those things I really appreciate, because
Jaja, you can put on whatever you want to put on.
That's our nephew, folks.
That's Jaja, y'all.
That's
one thing about it. Okay. We got through 30 minutes of quietness. I was surprised. So at this point,
somebody was keeping him occupied while we were doing this.
When he opened the door, I thought he was gonna come out with a Superman costume on or something. Anyway, so I'm just glad it's regular clothes.
And we appreciate JJ, and we love Phoenix for allowing me this time.
Baby Phoenix is napping. I don't know what happened. I don't know if you had something to say to her in the astrals or something, but she went to sleep at like 3 minutes before the live. And I'm
really?
Wow. I can't get you to act like this on a good day, but because Miss Simone is having a live and you got this cute little coat, you want to be on your best behavior.
Yeah. That's my girl. Every morning when we connect, she comes on the FaceTime, and she gives me this beautiful smile with these deep dimples and the 2 bottom teeth. And then if I'm really lucky, I get some dribble.
Phoenix is such a sweet baby.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful. But the next time we come together is going to be in person. I'm putting it out there into the universe.
Come on, y'all.
Right? And it's going to be warm wherever we go. And, we will just extend this love one-on-one and in the flesh, which is needed, huh? We should
ask the comments. Where do y'all think we should go first?
Oh, right. That's a good question.
Yeah, comment below. Where y'all want us to come?
Which should we go to a city, another country? Because if wherever we go, you guys, if you're there, you'll join us.
Right.
I just got a funny feeling with the first person gonna take. Nobody ain't taking anything yet.
Nobody said nothing.
And that's fine, because we already got something planned for the Carolinas.
Okay.
And Barbados.
Barbados.
Okay.
New York.
Then New
York. Okay. Jewel said we better stop by New York. Well, Jewel, you'll be wherever we at, because you're going to have Jahari shop in person. Okay.
In person. Somebody here is saying Brooklyn. Somebody saying Tobago. I love that Tobago idea.
Montserrat. See, y'all know my ad. Y'all know baby girl ain't never been nowhere. Y'all saying some shit I ain't never heard before.
Montserrat is a small island in the Caribbean. Hi, JJ. And it has a beautiful volcano. I think it has a volcano. I think so. Yeah, it's a very smaller than Barbados.
You talking about a volcano at 1:11 Eastern Standard Time? I couldn't resist.
That 1:11. That 1:11.
Oh, really? Oh my God.
I just had to.
Florida. Oh, my cousin is in Florida and she's a massage therapist.
Oh, nice. Yes, Yolanda is confirming that Montserrat does have a volcano. And listen, you know what kind of work you could do with that ash?
Okay.
We're going to find out.
Asia said we always welcome to come to the shop. That's right up the street. I need
Bahamas.
to come for the end of the year.
Woo! I've been to the Bahamas. Over there is beautiful.
So we're going on tour then.
We going on tour. I told you the 10 Talk is coming to a place near you.
Yes.
So we're going to deal with mental health. We're going to have tarot readings. We're going to have a medium in place. And someone is saying, y'all will more than likely be in New York. I
have really been trying to get to New York because I've never been.
I think that's a message that New York would be first.
Bet.
Okay, Brooke. So listen. Hey, Jay. So listen. Thanks for being here with us today. Really appreciate it. Um, Thank you all for being in my corner and giving me the support. You know, like I said, it's going to be a rough end of the year. We just on standby right now for anything to happen. But I can feel my ancestors close, and they're just, holding it together for whatever it's going to be. So I'm just grateful at this point. So thank you all. If anyone is interested in contacting Brooke or Donnecia, all their information at IG is going to be, once I put this live on my timeline, and you'll be able to connect with them. Please book them. They are amazing with their work. I support them and endorse them 100%. I've seen them in action. This stuff is real, is authentic, and they'll give you the truth.
Thank y'all. And I will not
solicit a little bit, but
so any fake accounts, I'm not gonna be reaching out to y'all, okay? Because the bots have been busy.
Yeah, for real. They've been trying to connect into this life too, and I'm like, no, please, that's not
the other networking be trying to be on the line. The bot.
The bot. All right, my dears. Y'all have a good one. And thanks again.
Both of y'all. Okay. Are we gonna do a recap room on Clubhouse?
Are we doing that Wednesday? Ask
a black.
No, we talking about you want to go on Clubhouse to talk about
recap.
how we feel and what came.
Yes, this was so fun.
Okay. Also, y'all want to continue go over to Clubhouse now?
An after party, yes.
Well, listen.
So then we can drink.
Jewel can't wait. Look at Asia.
Look at everyone's like, thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go over there, but I have to
let's go over there. But everybody, you can't get in unless you bring a bottle.
Okay,
you gotta bring a bottle. Jewel, you gotta bring a bottle. Sonia, you gotta bring a bottle. Barbara, you gotta bring a bottle.
And the spliffs.
Who bringing a spliff?
Look at Donnecia. Oh.
We don't try to out me on this live. First of all, I mix a little tobacco because I know where my help comes from.
Hold on.
Throw that smoke out.
Wait, where's my cigar?
Y'all know what?
Cigar. I don't know where my cigar is. My cigar is
small. Okay,
all
right, so we're heading over.
Somebody said they said get the fuck nigga free water for sure.
Okay, you know what? I'm done. I'll see y'all.
We at the after party
in the Clubhouse. Bye, everybody.
Y'all.